at SkySock's video from last year. Look at this. Most of those are illegal fireworks that were dotting the entire horizon. People say it's illegal, and yet all those people do it. Here now, our Fox 11 medical contributor, Dr. Michael Daignault. He is working in the ER on this 4th of July holiday. So people are going to do this.
Right. Going to happen.
What happens if they do?
Well, there was a recent report that came out that if you look at firework injuries, 35% of the injuries affect the hands and the fingers, and that is what we're preparing for. That is the big consideration. And so what I want the public to be aware of, especially with this, if you accidentally amputate one of your fingers, there's 3 steps that you have to follow. The first one, take that amputated digit, wrap it in a moist towel, cloth, or a sterile gauze if you have it. Then place that in a plastic bag. And third, you put that plastic bag on ice. So the key factor is you want to keep that amputated digit cool, but you don't want it to touch ice so it doesn't develop like a freeze injury. The issue is within 4 to 6 hours, we can re-implant these digits. After that, up to 24 hours becomes much more difficult. So you really want to follow those steps.
I mean, you're literally talking about taking your finger, if it comes off of you, and then putting it on ice. Wow.
Yep. You got to save it.
And this is a big problem, right?
This happens a lot. Fortunately, if we look at the numbers, the last 3 years since 2020, the numbers of injuries have actually come down. You remember 4th of July in 2020 during COVID was horrendous. I mean, the amount of fireworks, I mean, people were stuck at home, and there was a lot of aggression and anxiety that people had to take out. So thankfully, since the last 3 years, the numbers are going down.
So 35% injuries to the hands and the fingers, 22% to the head, face, and ears, 19% the eyes, 11% the torso, 8% to the legs. When you deal with these people that we're told not to set off illegal fireworks, and then they do it anyways, and then they come in and their hands blown off, are they saying, "No, should have done that"? What do they say?
I mean, so much of what we see in the ER is people's worst day of their lives, right? And so we always try to not have as much judgment. And, you know, the other thing I want to mention is that, you know, 42% of these are burns, and it's second-degree burns. So we talk about sunburn, it's first-degree burn. Firework burn is second-degree. That's when you get into the deeper tissue, develop blisters, you're at higher risk for infection. So if it's the burn area is greater than your palm, it affects the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears. You got to come into the ER. Smaller burns, you want to keep cool. Put a dry, sterile dressing on it. Take ibuprofen or Tylenol for pain relief. But again, if it's bigger than the palm, affects the face in any way, you need to go to the ER or a burn center to get evaluated.
Yeah, because people may not have set off the illegal fireworks themselves, but they could end up getting hit by them.
Right.
You know,
no, totally
innocent bystander.
That happens all the time too. You really want to make sure that you're setting a safe distance for you and your family members, especially kids that are running around. And the other key factor is that you talk about the 9,000 injuries. Half of those were from sparklers. So a lot of times we forget that sparklers are burning at a very high temperature, and that's where we see a lot of burns. Not so much the traumatic injuries that we're talking about, but those second-degree burns.
Wow, so many injuries that are all preventable.
It's going to be very busy the next 2 days.
All right. Well, if you have a question for Dr. D, you can send us an email to askthedoctor@fox.com. Dr. Michael Daignault, good luck this weekend. Thank you so much, Marlon.